I'm so happy to be back with you guys. How was day one yesterday? So do you remember the 6 questions that we answered yesterday? Do you remember the goal that you chose, that you are not supposed to unchoose? Remember, pick a thing and stick to it. Make your Instacart delivery and don't cancel the order. Do you guys still have your order from the universe? Yes. Okay, so yesterday we went through 3 questions related to desire. I want you to quickly go through these questions again and see if anything changed in your head. Question number 1, is this my true desire or someone else's desire dressed in Gucci? And remember, this one order from the universe is not, get me a hot date for Saturday. It's something massively significant. I want a soulmate. I want that dream house. I want to move to that city I've always wanted to live in. I want that new job. I want to start that company. I want that round of investment. It has to be something big and bold. It's okay if you don't feel you're ready for it. We're going to get you there. But first, answer this. Is it your true desire? How many of you here can say yes to it? Yes. Okay, great. But still, only 30% of the room. Now, that's okay. We're going to keep refining. Number 2, does this desire turn you on emotionally? Remember that quote, a good goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. 90% excitement, 10% scare because you are playing at the edges of your comfort zone. Is this true for this? Does it turn you on emotionally? Does it scare you? 10% scare. Does it excite you a lot? Okay, now we go on to the 3rd question. Am I afraid of who I have to become to hold this? This is a tough one. Are you afraid of who you need to become? The boss, the CEO, the person with responsibilities and a Google Calendar. It's okay if you're a little bit afraid. Now, this one, you start overcoming when you step into expectancy. That's what we're going to talk about today. But now let's go on to the 3 questions related to belief. Belief is, what do you believe you can do? David spoke about how some people believe that the toughest thing they're going to do that day is make a good cup of espresso. Elon Musk wants to colonize a planet. Your belief defines what your energy system is capable of holding. The 3 questions for belief is, do I believe this is possible for someone like me in this time frame? So when you're setting one of these big goals, by the way, a great time frame to pick is 3 years. Why? Because psychologists say that we always overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but we underestimate what we can do in 3 years. In 3 years, anyone could make $1 million. In 3 years, with the right beliefs. In 3 years, you could have that dream home. In 3 years, you could make your business take off. So you're thinking 3 years out. It takes off the pressure. Remember, we're talking about a massive goal here, but it's also within the realm of possibility. Number 2, do I believe I deserve it without having to earn it? This is so important because if you don't define these parameters, you risk burnout. You risk getting ill. You risk ruining your relationships and your mental health. And this happens to so many people. Remember Adriana's story yesterday? How she ended up in hospital, almost died. You got to get your borders secure. And what I mean by this is your boundaries for calmness, for rest, for relaxation, for nurturing, for relationships. 3rd question, do I believe this has to be hard or do I need to hustle? Anyone here ever heard of the book, The Surrender Experiment? So this book literally is about a guy who starts a meditation center in Georgia. While doing that, he ends up building $1 billion software company. And he speaks about how often it's not about hustle, it's about peace of mind that allows you to manifest big goals. Okay, so remember these 6 questions. Now we're going to move to the 3rd ingredient, which is expectancy. Expectancy in manifesting literature is sometimes referred to as surrender or the law of resonance, depending on the teachers. In our Manifesting Mastery program, we go deep into the 5 biggest blocks for expectancy, which is visualizing from lack, time lag, quantum leap syndrome. Quantum leap syndrome basically means you step into a new reality, but then you can't hold it because there is an inability in your beingness to be into that new reality. Whether it's CEO or it's multimillionaire, it's the reason why In study after study, people who win the lottery after 1 year end up at the same level of happiness, and after a few years end up losing all their winnings. That's quantum leap syndrome. Aligned action. Aligned action is after you set a massively big goal, how do you take aligned action rather than falling into hustle mode? And the fifth one is letting go of attachment. This is hard because we get so attached to our dreams. We get so attached to the idea that if we don't hit this dream, we are something less. So surrender and letting go also has to do with developing an incredible amount of trust and faith. Now, let's talk about expectancy. First, I want to start with a personal story. This is where I started Mindvalley. This is, if you know New York, it's 8th Avenue and 48th Street. That is the Playwrights Tavern. And I started Mindvalley in that window. You see the little window with the weird air conditioning outside, top floor? That's where Mindvalley started. It was a very, very, very humble beginning. But there was one thing I always had. I always knew it was going to be something big. I started out teaching those like tiny silver classes. I always knew it was going to be something big, but I didn't know how. So I also want to make a confession, which is kind of embarrassing, but I want to be really authentic here. This is Times Square in 2003. This is not Disney Times Square. This is hookers and crack Times Square. 2 years before I moved into that apartment, it was a Thai massage parlor. And if you lived in New York, you know what Thai massage parlor means. So yes, the School for Humanity started in a former brothel. Now, I want to show you a picture from back then. I'm really not comfortable with this picture, but I want to just take a leap of faith and just show you this really embarrassing picture of me working on my laptop from that era. That's me. You could see I could barely afford pants. Now, I want to point out something about this picture. I want to show you like how low I started because I want you guys to know that no matter where you are, you can build something really big. That chair I did not buy. I salvaged it from the street. That table, I salvaged it from the street. In New York back then, every year when IKEA comes up with the new catalog, the neighbors toss out the old furniture and then broke people like me go and just salvage it. It is incredible level of recycling. So everything there is literally salvaged from the street. In fact, that table I'm working on, literally from IKEA, is called the lack table. IKEA literally named this table for the absolute lack of abundance and self-worth you need to choose a $9.99 table as the table in which you're building your business. So that's how I started. But as we were building up Mindvalley, later on I moved to Malaysia, started working from a house, started working from my apartment, started working from a coffee bean. I always had this vision. I wanted to have the most beautiful office in the world because I wanted to employ people from hundreds of countries. I wanted to just experience that life. I glimpsed that once. When I was young, I was invited to a party in Silicon Valley by Yahoo, and I was blown away by Yahoo's office. I was blown away by all the amazing people working there, and I said, aha, I want that. From the very early days of Mindvalley, we would take our team, because Malaysia has beautiful beaches, we would take our team on retreats to the beach, and we would play a game. We would divide people into teams, and we would build a sandcastle modeling the perfect office. We did that for 5 years. Every year, the team would come, and people would build a sandcastle modeling the perfect office with the most interesting rooms, with meditation lounges. 5 years later, we built our office. And that office in 2010 made Inc. magazine, top 10 most beautiful office in the world. We didn't stop. We built another office in 2019. Again, we made Inc. magazine, top 10 most beautiful office in the world. We call this the Temple of Light. I believe in creating beautiful spaces for employees to work. But I want you to observe the IKEA lack days and the office. And I want you to know that that is possible for everyone. It takes desire, belief, expectancy. But even someone like me, we hit our limits. Like we will hit our limit. And I hit my limit a couple of years ago. And I want to tell you how I realized I hit my limit. So many of you here David Guillaume mentioned this. What happens when you get to 5 million and you're no longer growing? What happens when you suddenly hit that limit and something's happening to the company? It's just not shifting. Something's happening to your life. You're just not meeting that special someone. And to you, it's the tariffs, or it's the stock market, or it's something. But what if that limit is simply in our imagination? So here's how I recognize that limit, and this has to do with an expectancy block. When I was first starting out Mindvalley, and I first moved to Malaysia, this was around 2005, I go into the KL Mall under the Petronas Twin Towers, the tallest building in the world, and below that there's this beautiful mall, and I walk into the Xenia store. You know Xenia? Really expensive luxury brand. There's a store here as well in LA. And as I walk into the Xenia store, and I'm dressed in jeans, I'm dressed in a t-shirt, I'm maybe 27 years old, the salesperson comes to me, and she says, in a Malaysian accent, "I'm sorry, sir, but you cannot afford anything here. This shop not for you." And I was so insulted. I just walked out, and she was right. I couldn't buy anything in that store. A few years ago, Mindvalley hit. I never forgot that person, though. Now, a few years ago, Mindvalley hits 100 million in revenue in under 12 months. We have our first 100 million revenue year. No VCs, no investors, nothing. And I decide on that day, I'm in Dubai at that time, I decide on that day I'm going to go to Dubai Mall, and I'm going to go to Xenia, and I'm going to buy whatever I want from Xenia, just to prove to Vishen from 2 decades ago, just to prove to that salesperson, whose name and face I don't even remember, that I made it after more than a decade. So I walk into Xenia, and I see the most amazing white sweater. It is unbelievable. There are lights around it. It's got this pattern. This is the ChatGPT representation of what that sweater looked like in my mind 2 years ago. So I walk into the Xenia store, and I try on the sweater, and oh my God, I look so good in white. It was so amazing. So I walk out and I ask the salespeople, you know how expensive stores, they don't put a price on the label? They're pretentious that way. Anyway, I asked the salesperson, how much is the sweater? And the salesperson goes, with tax it would be 1,200. And I go, what? 1,200? Dubai money or US money? He goes, US money, sir. And I go, you know, it didn't really fit me well. It's okay, you take it back. In my mind, I'm thinking, what the hell is this made of? Unicorn fur? Like, I can get something similar in H&M or Zara for like $120. How are they overcharging stupid Xenia Italian fashion designers? That was an expectancy block. In my mind, there was still that childhood voice, money is scarce. Don't waste money. Be frugal. Save it for the bad time. That was limiting my abundance. And I didn't realize it until I signed up to go and work with Marie Diamond. Anyone here know Marie Diamond? Okay, anyone can relate to the Xenia story? You know you can afford something, but you don't buy it. You think you're being frugal. No. You probably just cost yourself a ton of future abundance by telling your belief system that money is hard or money is scarce. Now, I'm not saying just go spend on everything. There's a formula for it. We're going to come to that. But first, I've got to tell you the story about Marie Diamond. So this picture was taken several years ago. I work with Marie maybe once every 2 or 3 years. Marie does what is called karmic healing. She's one of the teachers on Mindvalley Mastery. Amazing woman. When Marie looks at you, she cannot just see your energy body. She can see all your past lives going back and back and back. And she can see the patterns that you inherited from that past life. So I decide to work with Marie. And I'm asking Marie, I'm going through this phase right now where, you know, I'm comfortable. I have all the money I need. I'm making millions a year. The company isn't growing, though, and I wonder what's underlying it. And she goes, Vishen, what's underlying it is you're too comfortable. You don't have any desires for more money. Now, at that point, she was correct. I owned 4 gorgeous apartments. My apartment in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, had won interior design awards. I had massive office spaces that were in Inc. magazine. I was living in Estonia. I had bought an apartment. That was my dream apartment in Estonia. It was so beautiful that I bought it in the middle of COVID. It was in the newspapers. Foreign entrepreneur comes and buys the most expensive apartment in the city. I was comfortable. And Marie said, that's the problem. You are comfortable. If you are comfortable, you're telling the universe, I'm good, I don't need money. Go give it to someone else. Now the thing is, the universe is incredibly abundant. It's not a zero-sum game. The universe can make you richer, but it can also make everyone else richer. But you're telling the universe, I'm good, I'm full. So Marie said, so first I want to backtrack a second. I want to tell you how I met Marie. So Marie was on Mindvalley. I'd interviewed her, and this woman watched the interview, and this woman happened to be the mother of the rapper Big Sean. You know Big Sean? He wrote a song called Ass, 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 Ass. Deeply spiritual guy. So I mean, don't judge. Listen to the song. It's a spiritual song about booty. Okay, so Big Sean's mom tells Big Sean to go and work with Marie Diamond, and Marie Diamond does some miracles for Big Sean, and he goes public on the Jay Shetty podcast, and he talks about how Marie Diamond, he had a song that was about to release on August 26, maybe 2001 or so, and Marie says, no, wait till September 3rd. Big Sean goes, no, we're all ready to drop the song August 26. Marie goes, wait. Big Sean decides to listen to her. August 26, Taylor Swift drops a single, shoots up to the top. Taylor Swift's single stays there for a week, drops September 2nd. Big Sean releases his song September 3rd, boom, he gets a #1. He goes public and talks about how Marie Diamond has changed his life. So I read this, I hear this. So Marie Diamond is speaking at Mindvalley University. I remember we're in Croatia, we're in a boat. I go up to her, and I'm like, wow, congratulations, Marie. You did amazing work with Big Sean. And then I wanted to just test her, so I'm like, you know, what can you do for me? And I'm thinking, okay, look, my energy is pretty clear. I don't write music about assery. I've been working on myself. I'm sure she's going to say, oh, Vishen, you are good. Maybe we should be business partners. We should combine our forces and change the world. But instead, Marie, in her French accent, looks at me and goes, oh, yes, you have a lot of shit in your energy. I'm like, what? She goes, shit, shit. You have shit in your energy. I can fix this. Now, I got to say something here. Marie is Belgian. She speaks French. I just want to divert a moment and talk about insults. Americans used to have the best insults, but now you guys have overused it. Everything is F this or ass that. Your best books are The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F or How to Be a Badass. Your personal growth teachers use words like unfuckwithable or bullshit rules. In America, insults are just like natural part of language. Even your president speaks in insults. It's just normal. So American insults don't really sting you. Then there's British insults. I'm about to move to London. British insults are so charming. You're a pollywanker gobblegook. It's like a Harry Potter spell, pollywanker gobblegook, right? I love British insults. Like, I want them on a t-shirt. I want to be a pollywanker gobblegook, whatever that means. But then there's French people. French insults are like this. I'm gonna speak to Zayn Asher here and just like pretend I'm insulting you in French. C'est pas. The French know how to insult. You don't even know what they're saying, but they shred you to pieces. And that's the way I felt that day with Marie Diamond. So I go to see Marie, I start working with her, and Marie says, Vishen, show me your watch. So I show her my watch. And she goes, this is a stupid watch. Where did you get this from? And I say, Istanbul airport, duty-free, 300 euros. She goes, see? You don't even buy yourself a fancy watch. And that's because I'm just not into this type of luxury. I grew up in Malaysia. I collect apartments and offices. And my apartment, my watch was $300, literally from duty-free in Istanbul airport. So Marie calls her husband, who's a watch expert. And so this is in the south of France. And he makes me go to the Cartier store in Monaco and buy this watch. Now, of course, this is the cheapest watch from the Cartier store. But it's still $6,000. But that was a stretch for me. That was 20 times more expensive. Then she says, show me your wallet. And I show her my wallet, and she's like, what is this piece of shit? How dare you treat the money like this? Because my wallet was like all frazzled. I loved it. I had an attachment to that wallet. I had wallet attachment issues. You know, I'd had it for years, but there were threads coming out. She makes me go to the Gucci store and buy a proper Gucci wallet. So now I'm putting my money in the right place. I'm buying the expensive watch. And Marie explains this. You want to expand your wealth, you have to let money flow. Spend money. You think you're happy with your beautiful apartment right now? Dream about the villa on Lake Como. She says, if you don't have those bigger dreams, if you aren't allowing money to circulate, you will never be rich. So following that, I go and I buy a beautiful, gorgeous apartment for my mom and dad in Tallinn, Estonia, as a Christmas gift. That was just a few months later. Following that, I go to Dubai, and I buy an apartment with the most amazing view of the Burj Khalifa. Then I buy a plane. That was a dumb idea. Don't buy a plane. I sold it off immediately. But then after that, and as I did that, more and more money flew to me. Within 24 months, the apartment I bought in Dubai, the value went up 40%, made a huge positive investment. The company exploded. We had our most profitable year yet. I continued. I went and I bought another apartment in Dubai, 3 times the size. Absolute luxury. Now I'm thinking, like, where do I want to find that villa in Lake Como? Because money has to flow. For money to be able to flow, that is how you activate expectancy, because you're expecting the best. You see, I had shut off the flow of money by neutralizing desire. I believed I could do it, but I neutralized desire. And then because of this immigrant value save that I had developed as a child, I was afraid to even buy a sweater that I really liked. Money has to flow. This activates expectancy. Now, let's go on to the 3 questions. The first question is, for your big goal, have you let go of the need to control the how? Can you stop micromanaging the dream? Imagine, anyone here has kids? Imagine driving and you have the kids in the back of the car and you're headed somewhere, maybe Disneyland, and the kids are going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That's you when you bug the universe. Just place the order and fucking chill. Esther Hicks said, don't worry about the how will come to you. Worry about the what and why. When I shared with you the example of my life book and how I created Mindvalley's event division, I didn't know how to do it. I focused on the what did I want and why did I want it. Why speaks to your heart, brings out that desire. Now, number 2, are you actually ready to hold it now? This is readiness. If it showed up this week, would you feel safe and supported receiving it? If you got that job offer today, would you feel safe in it? I noticed something really interesting about some of my team members. Sometimes someone would get a promotion, and they're doing incredibly well. They get a promotion, and all of a sudden, within a month, they break down. They're earning more money. They were not ready to receive it. This happens to all of us. Michael Beckwith calls this the law of resonance. The universe doesn't give you what you want. Rather, it will reflect back to you who you are. You have to become that which you desire first. I repeat, the universe doesn't give you what you want. Rather, it will reflect back to you who you are. If you're not a CEO, but you want to be a CEO, start learning how to talk like a CEO, how to dress like a CEO, read books about CEOship. If you're not a millionaire and you want to get there, start reading and learning about money. Start understanding the mindset of millionaires. Read autobiographies of great entrepreneurs. You have to be ready to receive it before you get it. Is that true for you? This is also true for the people you want to attract into your life. You want to conceive a child. Are you ready to be a mom or a dad? Are you ready for those sleepless nights? Are you ready to be able to balance family and work? Now, this brings us to the 3rd question. Can you see evidence or feel like it's already real? Have you had a moment, no matter how brief, where this felt undeniably done? When Michelangelo was creating the David, People ask them, how did you create a sculpture that is so beautiful? And I've been to Florence, I've seen Michelangelo's David. It is the most incredible art piece. Like you wonder, how could a man have created something like this? Michelangelo said this, when I looked at that block of marble, I already saw an angel waiting to emerge. All I did was remove the unnecessary bits. Do you feel like it's real? For example, you're looking to attract the right love partner. Do you already see evidence where, you walk into a cafe, someone checks out your ass, you're feeling attractive. You're looking to attract money. Do you already see evidence where you are making the right business decisions? You are falling in love with books, with training on entrepreneurship. What evidence can you see? You got to be a little bit delusional for this. But the more you choose to see the evidence, the more it'll come to you. This is what gratitude is about. Gratitude is about seeing that evidence of a universe dripping in grace. So before we end, I want you to get this. Manifesting is like Wi-Fi, right? Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not working. Also, shouting at it or turning it off and on, off and on, off and on is not going to help. You have to trust. And to trust, you have to embody it. You have to embody what you're seeking to attract, like Beyoncé in a wind tunnel. Embody it. Start dressing for that person you want to be. Manifesting isn't about getting more things. I want you to remember this. It's not. Manifesting is about becoming the person you are destined to be. The more things, the business, the love, the career success, the accomplishments, those are simply the result of becoming the person you are meant to be. Manifesting is you being that block of marble and letting the universe gently remove the unnecessary bits so you emerge as the statue of David. That is the power of expectancy. I want to leave you with one last story. Because manifesting does require you to be a little bit delusional. And some people are going to think you're full of shit. Some people are going to, that's okay. The people in this room, we get it, we know. So, there's a story about a boy who was so positive, like just everything about life, about the world, he was so in awe about. And his parents, regular people, thinking, this is setting him up for failure. His parents didn't know better. So one Christmas, they decide that they are going to show him that life doesn't always work out. So they get him a box and they fill it with manure. And so he goes to the Christmas tree, December 25th. He opens the box, the present. He sees this beautiful present, gold wrapper. He opens it, and inside he sees manure. And he gets so excited. And he digs into the manure, and he tosses it out, and he digs into the manure, and he tosses it out, and he's tossing out the manure, and he's so happy. And his parents are thinking, Billy, what's going on? And he goes, Mom, Dad, I know. Where there's manure, there must be a pony. Be like Billy. So even when something goes wrong, ask yourself, what is the universe trying to teach me or move me? See grace and abundance and bliss and signs that you're on the right path with everything. And manifesting starts to become inevitable. Before I wrap up, I want to give you all 3 questions. These are the 3 questions. Feel free to take a screenshot of that. I want to explain something on the money thing because I want to make sure that you guys don't think I'm saying buy everything. I've interviewed thousands of people, and every great financial guru I've interviewed, from Ramit Sethi to Harv Eker, they all say one thing, right? Budgeting actually sets you up for scarcity mindset. I know your parents thought about it. You should have a reserve for education, saving up for home, a reserve for you to invest in your future business. That's good, but don't call it budgeting. That word, scarcity mindset. But they also said this, 5 to 10% of your income, you must always keep aside for education. Minimum 5. And 10% of your income, keep aside to treat yourself to luxury. Even if you're earning $1,000 a month, 10% keep it aside to spend $100 to go to a spa and give yourself a luxurious massage, to take your partner for a good dinner rather than cooking at home. 10%. If you do this, you are telling your mind that abundance is real. Okay? 10% luxury. 5 to 10%, depending on where you are, you want to spend on education. You want to spend on events like this. You want to spend on mastery programs. You want to spend on anything that helps you grow. Neil Donald Walsh embodied this really well. You know, we were talking once, and Neil was talking about how he traveled to South America, and he was in a beautiful market, I think it was in Ecuador, and he was haggling with, and he saw all the other American tourists haggling with the woman selling beads and stuff. And the woman would say $20, and the American tourist would go, I'll give you 15. And the woman would go, no, 17. And the tourist would go, I'd give you 13. Then they'd settle on 15. And Neil goes, why are you doing that? Like, that woman is poor. We're Americans. He says, when I go there and the woman says $20, I say, I'll give you 30. Can you practice that? That is abundance mindset. And I want to leave you with that. So, desire, belief, expectancy. Thank you, guys.